may have seen some reports about me and the show. And after giving all of this some careful consideration and weighing an alternative time slot CNN offered me, I've decided to move on. I am grateful to CNN for the nearly 18 years I've spent here doing the news. People often ask me if the highlight of my career at CNN was at the White House covering Donald Trump. Actually, no. That moment came here when I covered former President Barack Obama's trip to Cuba in 2016 and had the chance to question the dictator there, Raoul Castro, about the island's political prisoners. As the son of a Cuban refugee, I took home this lesson. It is never a good time to bow down to a tyrant. I've always believed it's the job of the press to hold power to account. I've always tried to do that here at CNN, and I plan on doing all of that in the future. One final message. Don't give in to the lies. Don't give in to the fear. Hold on to the truth and to hope. Even if you have to get out your phone, record that message. I will not give in to the lies. I will not give in to the fear. Post it on your social media so people can hear from you too.
Jim Acosta has been one of the few truth tellers in what I would call corporate media, and everyone else who has any common sense would call corporate media. It is media that does not work in any sense the way it was meant to in our Constitution, does not protect us, does not expose corruption, does not make sure that people that are sane will, let's say, win the presidency, and that really that people are informed about the actual candidates. It's this crappy fake system kind of built out of World War II, you could say, even earlier on. They don't do this in Europe, but we pretended our media was always going to be objective. And for a period of time when the parties were sort of similar on a lot of things, it maybe kind of worked. It hasn't worked since Newt Gingrich and even Ronald Reagan came around. You can lie directly to the media's face and they'll just repeat, well, so-and-so said this. Cliff said that chocolate is chocolate, but Tony said that chocolate is vanilla. That's what we've got now. And you see when it's about issues of life or death, it's about issues like deportation and women's rights, to whether they're going to go to a hospital and have medical care ignored while they have to go into a bathroom and perhaps lose their lives and things of that nature. We kind of need more than a stupid media that pretends objectivity means 50% between the two sides. Jim Acosta has been one of the good ones. John Harwood, who I've always loved, was fired about 2-3 years ago from CNN under the last idiot that ran it, Chris Licht, who ran it into the ground, thinking we can get people. We really can get conservatives. Trump calls you enemy of the people. The people who are in MAGA, who are dancing around in upside down flags and Trump diapers, are honestly more likely to watch a pile of their own feces than they are CNN. And they probably do. They're not watching you. You're never winning them over. So the only conclusion I can come to is you're just making your corporate bosses happy, or somebody's some money in your back pocket. Or Trump's offered tax cuts to your parent companies, and we have to figure out who that is because, of course, monopoly has taken over our entire country. And we've got six entities that essentially control everything. They're all massive conflicts of interest, as we know, with Bezos and Amazon. That's why he doesn't care about the Washington Post. Washington Post is kind of like his poker chip. So he can, Trump, you want me to kill that cartoon? Oh, you want me to get rid of push Jen Rubin out? You want me to do whatever? I'll do any of that as long as you give Amazon, you kill the mail service, USPS, and let Amazon take over, that kind of thing. Well, Jim Acosta, much like Harwood before him, people and other who, the cartoonist Ann Talnis, I believe her name was, who left the Washington Post in protest when they put her cartoon up, is a hero of democracy and would not take their crap. I'm sure he was given many chances and probably warned to not keep going after Donald Trump, to not keep challenging Trump. And he wouldn't listen. He kept pointing out lies from MAGA, lies from Trump, lies from Elon Musk, lies from all the billionaires, the Zuckerbergs and Bezoses and Peter Thiels and people that actually control this country. And for that, he eventually was going to get kicked out. I was surprised they were just moving him to midnight. As I said, I thought they would try to create a new hour in the middle of the night somewhere, maybe the 25th hour or something like that, just to put him in, or some other sort of phantom zone. No, what they did in the end was they did what you knew they would do. They fired him. They pushed him out. But being Jim Acosta, he didn't go quietly. On live TV, he ripped the crap out of them. He sat there and said, after his, many people thought covering Trump was my proudest moment. My proudest moment was when I went and saw it with President Obama, nice little dig there at Trump, to open up relations with Cuba. And he's like, I saw what a tyrant acted like down there. never be what I promised myself then, or something of that nature in the news, is I will never be afraid to stand up to a tyrant. Direct shot at Trump and direct shot, frankly, at CNN, and said that no matter where he is, what the news should be about, what it is about, is he said, we will, I will stand up to lies. I will stand up against fear. And I encourage you to do the same, even if it's with your phone. And these are the messages that leaders tell, like the, Pastor Booty at the Episcopalian Church. And lately we've seen Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, saying, I'd rather be 6 feet under than stop fighting Nazis. And, certain other members, who was the one who gave a great speech the other day, well, Raskin ripped into them too. But somebody, I'm trying to think which one of them gave a rip-roaring one. Well, and we know what Tammy Duckworth did to Pete Hegseth. I've shown that video, and we talked about that before. That Jim Acosta now joins that group. And I'm telling you, you've heard me on this show, and if you watch Tony's show, you've heard about him talking about it. Like, immediately, Ann Townes went to Substack and had 250,000 followers. Like, Acosta's gonna be fine. This media is dying. And to quote the great Captain Kirk, played at the time by William Shatner in Star Trek VI, An Undiscovered Country, he was talking about Klingons, but I'm going to talk about corporate media. Let them die. They have failed miserably. They have been bought. They are owned. They're in the bag for Donald Trump. They either are scared of him, or their parent company wants tax breaks, or whoever their executives are making millions and want tax breaks, or they want to move up. They're just good Germans who want to get that promotion to the corner office. Can I become a major? Oh, you need me to take those couple Jewish folks and gay folks outside? Okay, that's who's there. I'm going to talk a little bit later in the show. Scott Jennings pulled another one again. CNN is a trash heap. And honestly, do not watch. I mean, I've said it before. Do not watch cable. Do not buy these. There are exceptions. I pointed them out. The Philadelphia Inquirer should become the paper of record of anything we're going to consider a major newspaper, city newspaper. 6th biggest city in the country, owned by a foundation, tells the truth. Called on Donald Trump to get out of the race after the debate with Joe Biden. Why? For being a serial liar. They employ one of the best columnists in the country, and Will Bunch, who I've had on this show, who's liberal. They tell the truth. But come here. I've started to grow again. Please, if you're here, subscribe to Cliff's Edge here. Subscribe to Tony's Place. This is where we're going to grow. Subscribe to my Patreon, where I put extra content and allows you guys to help me do this more. Come to Substack. I promise you. I just picked up a few thousand subscribers there. I promise you, it is growing. It is where, when TikTok was shut down, those folks started to go. It's where people are going, realizing you can keep your data. You know who your people are. You have their emails. You can keep in touch. Again, it's Cliff's Edge there. At Cliff's Edge, there's no underscore in between like there is at the Patreon and at the YouTube. The point is that that's where the truth teller is going to be. And those outlets are going to get bigger and be covered by media more and more, as most mainstream media that's left, like the Philly Inquirer, as most corporate media dies, because we're going to pay no attention to it. Even if it exists, it'll be a tree falling in the forest. There'll be nobody watching and nobody reading. That is my goal. They are trash. They destroyed this country. They helped bring about the possibility of fascism, certainly authoritarianism, which we already have. They have done countless horrific things, from acting like aluminum tubes meant we need to attack Iraq, to saying the Russians had nothing to do with the 2016 election a week beforehand, taking the lies of a New York office FBI that was enthralled to Trump, and we found out one of them owned by Russia. They either are doing it purposely, the dumbest effing people alive, or some combination. And I go with combination. Again, they're good Germans. They want those promotions. They want those tax cuts. They want to crush the competition so they can become even bigger monopolies. Jim Acosta, you are a hero. You will end up on Substack, probably on YouTube, and any number of places with God knows how many subscribers and followers. My guess is if he were to go to Substack right now, he'd have 500,000 in pretty quick order. Because there are a lot of us out there that thank you and appreciate you for doing what you did, and calling CNN a bunch of and Trump really in a not very veiled remark tyrants on the way out the door, and telling people to not abide by lies, clearly implying CNN does again. Perfect. So that's what we're going to need in this period of time. We're going to need the helpers. We're going to need the people to stand up. One of those people is Jim Acosta. I don't have his power. I like to think I'm another one of those people.